I suppose this is as good a time as any to talk about negotiating tactics. And when I'm talking about tactics, I mean those little games that people will play. I've included a handout that lists 25 commonly used negotiating tactics. And so tactics are when someone tries to manipulate the situation, a little gamesmanship, tries to change the perception of who has the balance of power. The classic one is good cop, bad cop. Right? We put on this little act to get you to feel like that you're under more pressure, that we have more power in this situation. So here's my take on tactics. It's neither good or bad. And since we've just come from hard bargaining, where it's all about power and leverage, you will see tactics used quite a bit in hard bargaining. And you know what? Go for it. It's a one-off transaction without relationship, where you don't even be concerned with the other person's relationship. So, you know, whatever trick that you can use to get some leverage, if it works, all right. But, you know, be careful because you're not playing poker. And if you get caught and it's seen as a bluff, well, that will hurt any credibility. So that's where, as you start to try to build the relationship, as we move around this wheel, as we start to get in concession trading and win-win and beyond, where tactics can sort of hinder that relationship building because they will undermine your credibility. So be careful when and how you use tactics. It's okay in the early stages of the wheel, but as we start to factor in relationship, be very careful and use it. So now, here's a couple classic examples to talk about. So the first one, most common one, is called the exploding offer. And it works like this, where I set an artificial deadline. And in sales terminology, we call it a call to action, which is all it's trying to do is to get you to make a decision, to apply additional pressure around time, which is that powerful lever that we're going to talk about in a second, to apply that pressure to get you to make a decision. So you always have to ask. Now, when it comes to the exploding offer, there are real deadlines in life that aren't sort of a tactic or a gimmick, right? I mean, you may have your mortgage, your rent, taxes are due, a construction loan may be coming up due. There's all sorts of events where they are time bound, which was why time is such a powerful lever. So the exploding offer, though, is basically where they just say, hey, by Friday at 5, this deal goes away. So you always have to ask why. What happens on Saturday that this is no longer available? Okay, so that's sort of a classic. And I also mentioned good cop, bad cop. So remember, tactics, they're trying to change the perception of who has the balance of power. So everyone always says, how do you combat tactics? So in the next video, I'm going to talk about how to counter some of these commonly used tactics.